Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. And as you can tell, yes, we're not, or I am not outside Wimbledon or at Wimbledon at this very moment. I've just come home and Liam had an emergency, so it's just myself. So hopefully you guys will be satisfied with that for this Wimbledon daily podcast. But I was on site for both matches, on court for both matches, in all four press conferences for the women's semi-finals, and managed to ask a question to all four semi-finalists as well. Really interesting matches, interesting insights, and of course the women's final has been confirmed. We are going to get an all-Czech final, so if you are from the Czech Republic, you must be absolutely ecstatic because it's win-win for you. It will be Karolina Muchova versus Linda Nosková in that final, and both players deservedly went through. Muchova came through an incredibly dramatic match, and we'll touch upon that in a second. For Linda Nosková, a bit more straightforward, 6-4, 6-4 against Marta Kostyuk, who of course had been in really good form coming into this match as well. Great performances on the clay, made the semi-finals of Roland Garros, now semi-finals here at Wimbledon, and some interesting insights from her press, but very positive post-match. Coco, I thought, was incredibly gracious and eloquent in her post-match press conference, did not in any way take the win away from Muchova. And on top of that, there's a lot of players, understandably, that come into this and they're emotionally charged, they may be a bit upset, they may be a bit frustrated or annoyed. She really held it together impressively well, I have to say. Let's touch upon that Muchova-Gauff match then first. So this was an incredible match, to say the least. Muchova came out on top, 6-1, 1-6, 7-6, and 12-10 in that match tiebreak. In that match tiebreak, Gauff was struggling at the start of it. She was 4-1 down in that tiebreaker, and you thought, okay, Muchova starting to run away with it. And just bear in mind that this was a tiebreak to 10. Then Muchova goes 6-3 up, and you're thinking, okay, Muchova's still in control here. She's only a few points away. Gauff recovered nice to 6-all, and then we had an interesting moment at 8-all. Muchova gets time violation, and she then loses the next point after hitting a backhand long. She wins the next point, 9-all, and then Muchova, loses the next point, so 9-8 to Coco. Now, 9-8 to Coco, this is the opportunity for her. This is the match point that she had. She was behind the tiebreaker, then all of a sudden, 9-8 match point. And you're thinking, okay, what can she do? She hits a really good first serve down the tee. Big first serve. Gets a short ball that pops up pretty high, pretty manageable for someone of Coco's ability. And she elects to go for the drop shot. Now, interestingly, she said in the post-match press conference, she doesn't really remember exactly the ball that she was hitting at the time, and she needs to go back and watch it. She said, maybe I should have hit a forehand slice down the line rather than hitting a drop shot because it was an important point. Maybe I shouldn't have gone for that. My thinking is that actually, I don't think it was a bad option. The only thing I'd say is because the ball was bouncing quite high, she essentially needs to almost hit down on the ball to try and get it into a drop shot, which would have been pretty difficult because if she hits up on that, it's got even more air. It probably sits up. Muchova was pretty confident that she'd get to the ball if it was in. That's what she was saying in the post-match press conference, maybe because of that bounce that Coco would have had to have dealt with. I think the forehand slides down the line is probably the right choice, as Coco was saying, because we know that she can be a bit shaky on the forehand. That was evident in patches of this match. But instead, she goes for the drop shot, and she hits that drop shot into the net. And that then becomes 9-all. She was so in the moment, she actually didn't realize that they were supposed to switch ends, of course, because it was a total of 18 points. So multiples of 6, you change sides. And anyway, she eventually then changes sides, and you're thinking, okay, fine. Now, at 10-9, Muchova has a match point. She can't convert it. Then at 10-all, Muchova wins the next 2 points. And what I will say about her, it was an incredible roller coaster match, but she was very brave throughout the whole match, and as was Coco. Both players were coming forward to the net, I thought incredibly bravely at times. Not in a silly way, but I think in a courageous way. And that to me was great to see from both players. I think Coco historically hasn't really come to the net a lot, and she said in the post-match press conference when asked about that, that she feels she probably should come to the net more, and she's happy that she has been doing it and will look to come forward more and more. So Coco came to the net 45 times over 3 sets. That's 32 out of 45 times. Muchova 14 out of 26. That's points 1, of course. 32 out of 45 for Gauff. Coco was trying to come to the net first or hit the drop shot first, or essentially drag Muchova forward when it was on Coco's terms. She didn't want Muchova to be able to come forward when it was on Karolina's terms. And it worked for the majority of the match. Of course, that first set was an interesting one. I don't think either player was playing particularly well. Muchova hit, I think, 30% of first serves in. Somehow managed to win the set. Coco Gauff's forehand was just not firing whatsoever, especially on the forehand return. She was really struggling with that. And it essentially got to a point where she was not able to hit it particularly well. And so she was missing a lot of second serve returns. The serve, she only hit a couple of double faults, so that wasn't really a huge issue in this matchup. But she was struggling, I think, just to create a lot of damage on the first serve. Wasn't able to make a lot of, or hit a lot of spots like she would have liked. Muchova was returning really well, and Gauff just wasn't able to dictate with the forehand. So essentially, that first set was, a pretty comprehensive win for Muchova in that first set. The second set, 6-1 to Gauff, and she then picked it up. The forehand started firing better, first serve percentage higher, coming to the net a lot, being really aggressive, winning points, and taking the match by the scruff of its neck. Gauff is known for being a very reactionary player, a player that is arguably the best reactionary player on tour. She was trying to be, rather than being reactive, she was trying to be proactive. I think on grass that was the right ploy, and she was, again, 1 point away. She had a match point. So I think the game plan that she had tried to employ or employed was the correct one. It was just a few moments here and there, literally, that made the difference. Muchova was playing some inspired tennis, I thought. This surface is just so suited to her, with the backhand slice, the forehand, which goes flat, the drop shot, the hands as well, the net. I mean, she hit an incredible volley. I think it was at maybe 8-7, I want to say, when she was 8-7 down. I don't know if that's correct. But it was just a phenomenal volley off a first serve. A crunching backhand return from Gauff, cross court, almost, I think, out of reach. Karolina closes the gap so easily and hits an incredible reaction forehand volley. She has unreal hands, that's for sure. For Coco, though, a lot of positives to take from it in the post-match press conference. She said she's never made, of course, a Wimbledon semi-final before, so real positive there. I did ask her about whether she feels like there was extra pressure being the only Grand Slam champion left in the draw. She essentially said no. But if you want to listen to more of her thoughts on that, I'll leave at the end of this podcast. Then, Noskova, she played Marta Kostyuk. Now, Marta Kostyuk has been in great form, but Linda Nosková just served too well in this match. Really good variety, the drop shot, the forehand, the backhand. I was super impressed with the way that she was playing, and the serve is just such an incredible, important tool to have at Wimbledon. You need to be able to hit that well, and if you can, and you can win a lot of 3 points on your serve, then happy days, because you guarantee yourself at least a tiebreaker. Easier said than done, of course. I think Kostyuk went for a little bit too much. She was frustrated at times. which isn't ideal as well. But in the post-match press conference, I can touch on Kostyuk first. She was very bubbly, clearly happy with the fact that at least she made the semi-finals, wants to win more, of course, as well, and progress further. But I just think that Linda Nosková was serving really well. Drop shot was working. Kostyuk, I think, looked a bit jaded out there, if I'm being honest. She said there was no issues with physical issues or anything else, so can't really put that down or this performance down to anything other than she was outplayed on the day. And I think she admitted that in the press conference, said, you know, I want to play someone who doesn't hit so many lines in tongue-in-cheek way. Yeah, it's been a crazy day, but Noskova won pretty comfortably. Hi, Karolina, congratulations.
Hi, thank you.
I know you like your paddle, and you've got great hands in and around the net. Does it help at all, the touch and feel with paddle and tennis? Is there any similarities?
That's, I think, tough to say, but when we practice and sometimes I get some good volley, we always, because I play paddle with my team, with my physio and then coaches, so when I hit some good volleys, we are like, that's from the paddle. But like, who knows? But we definitely play a lot. It's fun.
Hi, Linda. Congratulations. Can you go through some of your thoughts and emotions on the match point after you won?
I couldn't really believe it, I guess. You always want to be in those moments, you always want to win these big matches, but when it actually happens, you don't know how to react or kind of realize it. But I always realize any success or any great matches or a good tournament after it's all done. So right now, I feel like I am already focusing on the final. So yeah, after the tournament.
Hi, Coco. Tough loss.
Thanks.
You were the only Grand Slam champion left in the draw. Did you feel any extra expectations or pressure going into today's match?
No, not at all. No, honestly, yeah. I didn't feel like I was the favorite or anything. I mean, obviously, I have more experience maybe at these stages than the other people that were left. But at the end of the day, we're all great athletes and great tennis players. So the past is the past, and I don't think it matters that much.
Hi, Marta. Great run. Obviously, back-to-back Grand Slam semi-finals. You said you couldn't have done too much more in this match, but what do you feel you need to add to your game to take yourself to the next level to make a Grand Slam final in the future?
A little bit of luck, maybe. Yeah. Would be good. I didn't have any in both matches. I think, I mean, honestly, like, jokes aside, I think it's an important factor because a lot of things need to align for you to win a title, to play a good match, to be at the level where I am, and it's not, you know, it's not an easy thing to do. So that for sure, but generally, I mean, I don't know, again, it's difficult to, you know, even compare these matches because for me they're super different. So it's not like there is a pattern that happens and I'm like, oh, I need to change this because it happened twice. I don't see it. There's always something that you can get better at. Return, serve, not rushing, your focus, everything has to be a constant improvement. So I cannot point out some like one or two things that I think, I mean, first of all, I didn't even talk to Sandra about the match yet. So, you know, it's going to happen tomorrow or maybe when we start practicing. But yeah, I mean, 2 times I played my first semi-final 1 month ago and now I'm playing second. It's a bit of a short of time span, you know, for these things to kind of create a pattern in some way. I'm hoping I'm going to have a lot more opportunities, but right now, I'm grateful to have these 2 semi-finals.
Acemate, your AI tennis partner. It moves, it catches, it serves. Real-time shot tracking delivers human-like rallies, every angle read and returned instantly. Train like it's match day anywhere on the court, hard court or clay. Acemate adapts and serves smart. Track speed, placement and progress right from your phone, built to push you further point after point. Pack it up, take it anywhere. Smarter practice starts here.